Hello, everyone. And today is Monday, and I'm excited to talk to you about our next piece. And if you look behind me, you'll see a work by Salvador Dali. This is from royalpainting.com. And I wanted you to see this because this is similar to what you're going to be doing for your project. We are going to learn about surrealism. And you're like, what is surrealism? What in the world is Miss Cofield talking about? Okay, so surrealism is basically dealing with dreams and fantasies, and it's sort of creating a composition or a work of art that uses things that you wouldn't really exist in reality, but it kind of looks like a dream. So these are being held up by stilts, and you see clocks behind me. But really interesting. I love surrealism because it really brings out like your creative process and it helps you to think critically, and that's what we want you to do is to try to understand how to create successful composition. It was our central question of how to create a successful composition by using surrealism. And this is how you do that behind me. You're going to try to include real elements and things that can't exist in reality. So you put both of those things together. Kind of deals with like subconscious thoughts and things that you would think in your mind, and try to put those together too. So let's simplify this. So let me share my screen with you, and I'm gonna show you what you're gonna be doing for your project. All right, so let's look at our project, okay, right here. Now, you're gonna use your hands. You're gonna have at least 3 hands in your project, okay, in 3 different positions. But you're gonna incorporate something that you wouldn't think that would exist in reality. Like, you see how these hands are holding the keys, which can happen, but you see all these images of the houses on top of it. What if this was like a road and it wrapped around the hand and went up into the houses? So you see what I'm saying? So think about that. Look at this. This is a hand, but it's things coming out the hand. What if you had 2 more hands that different things are crawling out the hand? So surrealism is kind of things that sort of wouldn't happen in reality, but it looks real, but it's not real. Look at the clocks and how they are merged into these hands, and it looks sort of like forms or figures. So like this could represent the arms, and that's the legs there. Look at that, how it's sort of in a seated position. Look at this zipper arm here. So you would need 1 more hand to make your composition. Look at this one. So it's really interesting. So artists that are really good, that really mastered surrealism is Salvador Dali. You need to look up his work. Very awesome object. So you're going to create a composition that puts or adds to a hand something that you wouldn't expect. The first thing that you're going to do is today, and I just want to make sure that you all know what you're going to do today, but you're going to draw 3 hands today. And you want to make, we're going to draw, it says draw 4 hands. So actually draw 4 because you want to pick the best ones to make sure that you know which one you're going to use for your sketch. So draw at least 4 hands. And I would say if you draw 4, that would kind of help you to pick the best one, because like sometimes one hand might not look right. But I don't want you to do, one thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to trace, okay? Do not trace your hands, okay? I want you to draw those hands. And I feel like if you did 4, that would help you, but I know it's pushing for time. So if you want to draw 3, that's fine, okay? But if you want to do 4, that's great. You know, you're trying to get to that level 4, which is an A. But draw your hands, and I want them to look similar to what you see here. I don't want them traced. If they're traced, you guys, I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to ask you to resubmit it, and I'm going to give you a 0. Do not trace your hand flat up there like you see my hand and you trace the outline. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay, you're in art 2. Okay, so in art 2 is a step above art 1. Don't trace anything in my class, please. All right, so you are going to draw your hands, okay? Now you can look at your hand like I'm doing right now and you see how I'm just looking at it and drawing. I can draw it like that. That's what I want you to do is look at your hand, change positions, and draw it that way. So I want you to draw 3 hands. Upload that today, and that way I can kind of see how your project is going to go. These are your hands you're going to use for your project, okay? So you want to try to upload them and shade them, have them look as real as possible. That's what we're looking for. You want your hands to be drawn as real as possible. So that's what I'm kind of looking for this project, like you see here. I want the hands to be drawn as real as possible, okay? Make sure you don't cut your wrist off like they did. Take it out to the edge of the paper. Turn this one so it can go to the side, so it won't just be sticking like this in space. You can turn this one on the side, like so that way it can go, the wrist can actually go off the page. Like you see behind me, it's not cut off, like the wrist is right there, extending down. Some really good hands also is MC Escher. He mastered Surrealism too. So you can look at MC Escher. He has some really good hands, and he did some things with hands that sort of took them out the norm. So today, what you remember, we talked about what you need to do today. So just look in my notes today, you do need to draw your hands. I have 4 up here, but you can do 3, and draw your hands. That's what you will do today. And then you will try to start your project sketch, your final sketch of what you're going to do. You can start that today. It is going to be due on Friday, as we always do. Your final sketch for this project is going to be due on Friday. You're going to start out today drawing 3 hands, okay? And those 3 hands you could possibly even use for your sketch for Friday. If you master drawing those hands correctly, you can work on it every day, and we can kind of see your progress on that. So please make sure that you draw it as real as possible. And I really want to see your hands and how they look. So please do that and upload your progress so I can kind of get an idea of what you want to do for your project. So looking forward to seeing your project today. I want you to watch this short video on Surrealism, and I want you to get an idea of what Surrealism is, okay?
Think Surrealism and you may think of visual artists like Salvador Dali or René Magritte. But the movement actually began in literature in 1924 through the poet André Breton. Influenced by the writings of Sigmund Freud, Surrealists saw the subconscious as the means of revolution and sought nothing less than to change the world. Surrealism rose from the ashes of Dada. Like Dada, it was an avant-garde movement reacting against the corrupt, hypocritical society responsible for sending millions to their death in the First World War. Both sought to shock the establishment and shared a distrust of logic and a love of the absurd. Surrealism was also influenced by the ideas of symbolism. Symbolist artists such as Gustave Moreau were seen by Breton as precursors of the Surrealist movement. Surrealist artists sought to liberate the subconscious mind in their art. Some, like Salvador Dali, did this through depiction of dreamlike images rendered in precise detail. Other artists, like Miro, explored automatism, the means of creating expressive images without engaging the rational mind. If a technique celebrated the serendipitous or the random, then Surrealists embraced it. Georges Hugenet used decalcomania to produce this work. Paper is painted, stuck together, then pulled apart to reveal images that can be read or deciphered in many different ways. The element of chance was important to Surrealist artists. Surrealism started in Paris, but quickly spread throughout the globe. In 1936, the International Surrealist Exhibition was held in London. Breton and Dali gave lectures there. Dali in a deep-sea diver suit, from which he had to be rescued when it became clear he couldn't breathe. Surrealism thrived elsewhere in Europe too, particularly Belgium and Czechoslovakia. Toyen was a Czech surrealist born Maria Čerminova. The name Toyen was adopted in early adulthood. Toyen identified using the Czech language's masculine form and dressed in men's working clothes. This exploration of gender has made Toyen a cult figure. This work, The Message of the Forest, depicts a huge blue bird against a dark, mysterious wooded background. It embodies a recurring theme in their work: nature's power over humanity. This world is barren, dreamlike, and inhabited by lone girls, fragmented female figures, and birds. It is bizarre, even sinister, and its discussion of dreams and nightmares suggests intense anxiety. As the Second World War ravaged Europe, many surrealists fled across the Atlantic. Some found a new spiritual home in Mexico, and others settled in America, where they inspired a new generation of artists. Abstract expressionists, such as Jackson Pollock, were inspired by the surrealists' approach to automatism and the idea that art should come from the unconscious mind. Other artists have found inspiration in dreamlike imagery and unexpected juxtapositions of surrealism. The photographer Francesca Woodman was a keen student of surrealism. In her photographs, she included props with clear surrealist associations, like the mirror. But was the mirror a device of surrealism? Or was surrealism the mirror, one helping us see the world with fresh eyes?
All right, so that kind of gives you a good idea of what surrealism is. Remember, it deals with dreams and fantasies. And you're going to create a surrealism hand project as you see behind me. Don't forget to upload your 3 drawings of your hands in different positions. Make sure you shade it using a range of value. Looking forward to seeing your hands today. Have a good one.